Thanks for clicking on the video, and here today at Nerd Mimic, we are gonna do story time with Dungeons and Dragons. The adventure begins. This is the Little Golden Book version, and it's based on the first episode of the cartoon series that aired in 1983. Now, Little Golden Books have been out since 1942. You've probably read this as a kid. Well, not this story, but multiple other stories. And there's so many different ones now that I weren't aware of until I looked in the store recently. There's a Mario one, there are Marvel ones based on MCU, and there's even a Taylor Swift one. But we are gonna read the D&D one, which you've never heard before, right?
Yes.
Okay, you ready for story time?
Yes.
Okay, well, before we read it, let's flip it to the back. And I guess it's just showing some pictures of some older stories. And then we'll get this book open. Okay, when you come over to this side, so I don't have to flip this book around, okay? Yeah. Yes. And so
This is the dragon.
that is a dragon, and I'll tell you more about him later. But this book came out earlier this year in 2023. All right. And this is the wonderful art where they first start out. I guess I should also point out that this cover is very cool, but there's actually someone missing on this cover. Emma, do you know who's missing from this cover? Eric, that's right. And you will learn about Eric in a bit.
Okay.
Okay, let's turn it to the first page. Once, not long ago, 6 friends went to an amusement park and rode the exciting Dungeons and Dragons ride. It had mechanical wizards, monsters, and dragons. Suddenly, everything around the friends began to twist and turn and swirl around them. "I don't like this," one of them yelled, just as they were pulled into a mystical realm. They couldn't believe it. Dungeons and Dragons was real, including the dragons. The friends found themselves near a duel between a 5-headed giant dragon, an evil sorcerer, and an impish magical being. Seeing that the children were in danger, the magical being cast a spell, transforming each of them one by one.
Is that the bad guy?
That is the bad guy, you're right. Hank the Ranger was given a bow that fired arrows containing powerful glowing energy. He immediately used his new weapon to keep the dragon away from his friends. Bobby the Barbarian got a club that enhanced his strength so he could smash anything. A small frightened unicorn who was also caught in the middle of the fight ran over to the young barbarian for protection. Bobby named her Uni. A pointy green magical hat was bestowed on Presto the magician. He could pull anything out of it with the right spell. Sheila the thief got a cloak that made her invisible. It also made her movements whisper quiet. Diana the acrobat sprang into the air with a magical staff that increased her athletic abilities. And Eric the cavalier was armed with a shield that deflected even the heaviest blows and the most potent blasts of magic. The friends fled the fight, but the dragon followed them. "Who dares awaken me?" one of the heads screeched. Sheila ran to the mouth of a nearby cave and called out. The dragon turned to her, and she used her magical cape to disappear. Looking for its prey, the dragon walked into the cave. Bobby swung his cub with all his might, bam, knocking a boulder down in front of the entrance. The dragon was trapped. You see that?
Yes.
He hit the rock there and fell down. The magical being's name was Dungeon Master. He said that Tiamat, the 5-headed dragon, and Venger, the evil one-horned sorcerer, inspired fear throughout the realm. The kids asked him how they could get back home. Dungeon Master told them they might find a clue in the town of Helix, but he warned them about Venger. He could magically disguise himself. You will know his newest face by his white hair, he said. On the way to Helix, the kids discovered the floating castle of Merlin the magician. They hoped he could help them return home. Someone is going to have to help us get up there, Hank said. And just like that, a golden ladder dropped from the clouds. This way, Merlin's castle.
Hang on.
Merlin welcomed the friends to his castle, but Sheila remembered Dungeon Master's warning and whispered, "He got white hair." But the magician laughed and lifted his hat. He was completely bald. His white hair was a wig. Yes,
Daddy, look at the dragons.
I know. He's in there too. That's next page here. Just then, Tiamat, that's the name of the five-headed dragon, attacked the castle. Merlin told the kids that nothing could escape from his dungeon, so they used their magical weapons to trip Tiamat into falling through a trapdoor in the floor. Now the dragon was locked up and couldn't do any harm. Merlin promised that he would put some thought into getting the kids home, but before he could do that, he needed an assistant to share all his medical knowledge with him. He offered the job to Presto. The others couldn't believe it, but Presto said yes. "If Merlin's not going to help us, I say we go to that Helix place," Eric said. The others wanted to wait for Presto, but Merlin told them they should continue their journey to find a way back to their world. In the village of Helix, the kids struck up a conversation with the villagers, and much to their surprise, they learned that Merlin had been dead for 1,000 years. They realized that the person they had met hadn't been holding a white rabbit. He had been holding a white hare, they said in unison, and that really meant that Merlin was Venger. Back at the castle, Presto had tried to use a book of spells to find a way home, but it was just a trick by Venger. To the evil sorcerer's delight, Presto had accidentally released a swarm of terrible dragons that would destroy Helix. Uh-oh. More dragons. It's Tiamat and Hank with his bow, and Presto hiding there, right, Ender? The kids raced back to the castle. Their only hope was to free Tiamat. "That's a terrible idea," said Eric, but it worked. The five-headed dragon attacked Venger. "You won for now," Venger grumbled as he escaped. Tiamat smashed through the stone walls in pursuit of the fleeing villain. Looking through Merlin's big book of magic, Presto quickly found the right spell to cast. "In the name of Merlin, in the time of sorrow, banish winged demons, let there be tomorrow," he chanted. With those words and a poof of magic, the dragons disappeared. "You did it," Hank shouted. The village was saved, and Venger had been defeated. Everyone cheered. Are they cheering?
Mm-hmm.
Their first adventure was over, but the friends realized that they would have many more adventures in the magical world of Dungeons & Dragons on their long journey home. They were ready. So I guess they will go on more adventures. They're going to go on 26 more adventures because they have 27 episodes of this cartoon. You want to see the cartoon, Ender?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could show you the cartoon. So that is story time with Dungeons & Dragons, the cartoon. The adventure begins by Little Golden Book. So hopefully you had fun listening, and maybe if interested, you can find a copy of it yourself. It's still available and easy to find. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.